So we're here at Camberley Kart Club with the Winter Championship, and the grid here we have pole for Alfie Temperley, and second on the grid Ben Ballou, with third on the grid we have Jed Murphy, fourth is Lincoln Bailey Arneson, fifth Jake Shurey, sixth is Jordan Upton, and seventh Ethan Lomax. And leading them onto the grid here we have Alfie, followed by Ben Ballou. And in third on the grid we have Jed Murphy in kart 69. And on the formation lap, you can see it's a little bit damp on the track still. And leading them round on this formation lap we have Alfie, followed by Ben, and then Jed in third place. So driving the Junior Max, those two at the front, with a bit of a power advantage over the others in the Mini Maxes. So we do expect them to pull away somewhat. And here they are, pulling away slightly from the others already. And you can see the track is still quite damp in places. And as we'll hear later on, a little bit of tyre squealing. So it's not completely dry, but it's not completely damp either. And a bit of an advantage now being pulled out from Ben by Alfie. And he looks like he's taking control in these early laps from Ben Ballou. And in third place, Jed Murphy showing well in that Mini-Max in these slightly damp conditions. And not really losing much ground to Ben there, Jed in third place. But both of them losing a bit of ground there to Alfie in the lead. So settling down quite nicely after a few laps. And once again you can see that Jed's not really losing any ground there on Ben, and Alfie taking control really here. And a bit of sunshine breaking out over the track, and a bit of tyre squeal. You can tell it's if there was any dampness, it's certainly beginning to dry out nicely. So nice and stable here. You can see the gaps being pulled out between the karts. And we have an incident. This will lead to a red flag. Ethan Lomax in quite a nasty incident, going backwards into the tyre wall. And this will bring out a red flag. You see the yellow flags up there. That will go to a red flag. And as you will see in a moment, the karts will be slowed down. And as you notice there, we won't be showing the incident itself. It was quite a nasty incident. And you will see an ambulance coming out onto the track in a moment. And the cart's being slowed right down under the red flag. And here comes that ambulance for the unfortunate Ethan. And here's Alfie, not totally certain of what exactly he should be doing. He's been asked to go round by one of the marshals, and at a crawling pace now, looking for further indication of where exactly he should be headed. And he's now being talked to by another marshal who seems to think that he should know exactly what he should be doing. And well, Alfie's been pointed round by another one, so a bit of confusion there. And now we have the drivers pushing their karts back. Rather a strange scene under a red flag. And they do look a little bit fed up. I can't blame them. So it does seem like a little bit of an odd way to proceed under red. Drivers pushing their carts back the wrong way towards the pit lane and looking slightly fed up with the whole procedure. So there we are. There's Ben Ballou. It's actually quite hard to push one of these carts back without getting tangled in it. So fortunately for none of the drivers there, not showing the embarrassment of tripping up over their own cart, they all managed to get back to the pit lane without further incident. So here we have a bit of replays from that first run of that final. And once again, that was Alfie and Ben hard at it in the first couple of laps. But it really was only for the first couple of laps, because after that Alfie was pulling out quite a decent lead there on Ben. And this isn't under yellow, so this is just a slow-mo on the camera showing the drivers driving a lot more slowly. And here they are waiting to run that race again in the paddock, waiting for the Honda Cadets to finish their race. This is a replay of Alfie wondering exactly what it is he should be doing.
All right, Ben.
Certainly looks attentive, and that's where you should be going, he says. So a bit sideways there on the exit. Does look a bit damp up there, actually. So are we looking at future greatness there? Ben Ballou. Will we be hearing that name in the future? Well, certainly on this commentary. And this is the restart, so we won't be seeing Ethan. I hope he's okay after that incident. And this is the formation lap for the restart. Conditions are just the same. It hasn't dried out. That the sunny patch didn't come back. It's still overcast. And you saw Alfie really showing his domination during that formation lap, pulling out a gap, but now they close right up for the restart, and there is a bit of light rain, as you would have seen on the screen there, and off they go. And and Ben has really nudged into that first corner, and it sent him wide. He's trying to keep his foot in, and it's just pitched him round. So now he's going to have to start all the way from the back and make his way back through the traffic, through those mini-maxes. And I don't imagine they're going to make it easy for him either. So it's they may be in a different class, but that's not going to stop them from making it difficult for Ben to make his way back through. So off we go again, and then there at the back we have in the Tony Kart livery Ben Ballou closing up on the first of those Minimax drivers. I think that was Jake Shurey. Yep, he's just going past Jake Shurey there. And the rain is now coming down a bit harder than it was, as you can see. Ben closing up on that little pack of Minimaxes. Nearly going off the track again. They're very, very close to getting both wheels off the track onto the green stuff. And that's probably, we can't really see it on the cameras at the moment, but we can tell you now that the rain is coming down a bit harder than it was before. And there's a spinner there. I think that was Jordan Upton, we're not sure. Oh, and driving through the cut through. It didn't give him an advantage, but it certainly helps him maintain position. And that's closing up there on Dan Sawyer, and through nicely at the first corner there. Oh. And you can see the water on the camera now, the wind blowing the damp conditions onto the camera itself. And this is Ben making his way past the last of the Minimaxes, apart from the one driven by Jed Murphy. But that's Jordan Upton, as you can see. And Ben making his way through with that that power advantage of the Junior Max, not really so much a factor now in the wet conditions. And Dan Sawyer right up there behind Ben as well, so the three of them all closely fighting it out, and he's down the inside taking that place nice and cleanly. Very, very slithery conditions now, very damp track. And of course they're all still on those slick tyres, making it difficult to control. And there's some jostling down there behind Ben. Oh, and it's a spin there. Right, that back behind. Couldn't quite see who it was. I think it was either the 19 or the 12 car, maybe, of Dan Sawyer. And this leads us to another red flag, and it is the end of the final. And as you can see, Jed Murphy managed to take the win from Alfie, who did have a late spin there in Kart 61. But Jed Murphy showing his talent once again in that Minimax in these damp conditions, taking the win ahead of Alfie and then Benjamin Ballou.